Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk about the Packers joint practice with the Indianapolis Colts. Got a lot of stuff to cover this evening. We're going to hit, like I said, the practice recap, both offensively and defensively. We got some injury updates as we've seen Jordan Love out there with the cast on earlier today. And then we got a little trade rumor that surfaced, and I don't know, man. It's been a little while since old little Ricky broke some news, but we're going to hit on it and see if there's any validity to it whatsoever. However, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Take a quick second, hit that like, hit subscribe. Make sure you click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, thank you for making us a part of your evening. We cover the Packers on a daily basis. Listen, we're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're nothing. Basically, what we are fans just like you in here talking Packers 24/7. So if you're looking for daily Packers content, make sure you hit subscribe. And once again, thank you for making us a part of your evening. I see the chat is on fire, gang. I'm excited to see what everybody has to say about this little trade rumor here. I told Emilio, and I got one of these, Jacob. I said, Emilio, did you hear about this trade rumor? And he went,
come on now, Clay.
Hit me with that side eye. So, and yeah, I gotta admit, man, that's exactly how I responded when I seen it too. So let's get into it, man. You guys remember our good buddy that he went on a run for about 2 weeks. I think it was during free agency, right? Old Ricky Scoops. And I love how I about said a bad word, how crappy his graphics always are.
I was just gonna say
so much.
He's got a watermark. It's perfect. You can't even see through the thing.
Breaking news, wow, breaking news, wow, breaking. All right. So anyway, some people look at this and they probably go, who is this guy, right? How many followers he's up to, first of all? Let's see here. 39,000. So this cat went on a little run breaking news where we were like, okay, who is he? And I remember asking you guys, do you think this is somebody within 1265 Lombardi? Because he had the info before anyone else, it seemed like, on the Jordan Love contract. I actually got a tip about the guaranteed money on Jordan Love's contract. I messaged little Ricky Scoops, and he said, yep, heard the same thing. So I went with it that night on the show, right? So he's got some kind of bead there. However, let's just get into it. The barking rumor, whatever that means. Even though I don't think he will be traded, the Packers have a very serious trade offer on the table to the Cowboys for Micah Parsons. All right. So let's get this out of the way. Do I think this will happen? No. Do I want it to happen? Not really. However, if they do pull the trigger on it, to me, it says they're probably going to do a restructure next year with Gary and then move on. That's how you could make that work, right, in terms of the salary cap. But if it was anybody other than Ricky Scoops and they had, less than 50,000 followers like Ricky does, I'd probably roll my eyes a little bit more. But he just hit on a few things. So what if there is a trade offer on the table from the Packers to the Cowboys? Let's go around the horn here one time. Do you guys think this is legit or no?
Jake. No. I don't.
Or you think there's no trade offer on the table?
I guess I should maybe rephrase it. I think that probably like most free agents, I think the Packers will give out an offer, one that would be completely reasonable for them, and someone that maybe an offer that would be almost out of the realm of possibility for the player, if that makes sense. And just because I feel like we've always talked about progress stoppers, how much capital we've invested in that position with LVN, guys like Kingsley, now with Sorrell. Obviously, we have Gary on the team, my boy Brenton Cox. It just seems like that those guys have earned their play, their positions, and it just seems very uncharacteristic. But I think if I understand now what Emilio was saying in the pre-show, it does kind of make sense for some Goody. If he is going to pull the trigger, he'd want to do it with a guy that is a proven blue chip guy, a guy that's still young enough that you can get him on a solid contract that he would be expected to play through and actually be a really high-end performer that whole time. So what are your thoughts, Emilio?
Yeah, 26 years old, 2 months, 19 days. That's Micah Parsons' age currently. I think Goody would be all over that right now. I mean, you've seen him. He's been in the league 4 years. You've seen what he can do. Imagine our defense, kind of surrounded around him. Imagine him opposite of Cooper. You got Quay. You got it would be – I think of it like you bring in X, you bring in Jacobs, you bring in Peppers, Woodson, that kind of a sort of a star player that's going to come in and be that difference maker. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think Coach Lynn said it earlier. Packers are in every conversation. That's the truth. Right. And I think, hey, if this is our bottom dollar, it would be like me walking into Home Depot and I pull the trigger on, the one yellow sticker item, right, Jacob? I'll get that one, but it's only for bottom dollar. And if they say no, I got to walk away. Right? You're not spending. But looking at the Cowboys' point of view, they're just probably going to throw that, the franchise tag on them and keep moving. They could do that for 2 years now. So I really don't see it.
Yeah, like you wouldn't drop $2,000 on a Mike Tyson fight, but we'll definitely pay $50 to watch Redneck Brawl. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Done deal. So again, the thing that got me kind of intrigued with the tweet, and again, it could be a couple of different things, really 2 or 3 different things. He could be lying about this, right? Whoever he is. We don't even know who Ricky Scoots was. So funny about this guy breaking news in the past is like, who the hell is this guy?
Where's Tim tonight? That's all I'll say.
Oh, cue up the conspiracy music. Is Tim actually Ricky Scoops? I will say this. If Tim was in the house and I said, Tim, what do you think about this? This would be his exact words. You ready? Stop it. Stop
He would say that.
Exactly what he would say. But when it says very serious trade offer, though, that made me go, wonder what the offer was. If it's true and they laid an offer out there, what would a very serious offer be? Again, I would not hold my breath on this. If it had been anybody but Ricky Scoops that had tweeted it, I would have probably just not even talked about it tonight. But that dude just, I don't know, man. There's something he's got behind the scenes there.
Yeah, the chat has been throwing out a few trade proposals. I guess, Emilio, what would it take for this deal to make sense? Like, would it be a player and a pick and a couple picks? Like, to me, it would have to be somebody that they replace. So I hate even going here, but it would have to be like an LVN, like Afam's saying here, LVM and a third. I think it'd even have to be higher than that. I think they'd probably want like a first or a second, maybe in Dobbs or something like that. What do you guys think of a possibility there?
They would definitely he would want at least a first, potentially too. I would think, even if you kind of do move a player, I still think Jerry would be like, I have, I got the fuel version. You can go ahead
and he would say it. Say it like he would say it. You've been in Tennessee long enough. Say it with the accent.
Yeah, can't you do it?
It's okay. It's okay. No, I think Jerry Jones is going to walk in there and say, give me 2 firsts and a player of said caliber. I just don't see it happening.
He said, give me 2 firsts in a groundhog cage, bub.
I just don't see it, man. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either, man. But again, Glover.
Looking right, his contract right now. What was he? He was average salary of $4.2 million. He had a signing bonus of 9.7, guaranteed as signed 17. He's basically been on the cap for 3, 3.8, 4.6, and 5.4. This year, the club option is $24 million. He would have to be getting. He probably wants 30 to 35 easy for at least 3 years. I mean, we're talking over $100 million.
I don't want that
to bring him right in. I would rate. I think our defense is good where it's at right now. I think we're going to grow into it this year.
Mm-hmm. All right, so there you go. We'll see if Ricky Scoops gets this one right or not. And again, if he ends up being traded somewhere else, we'll never know if he got it right. You know what I mean? So, William Herman in the chat says Ricky's the same guy who said the Packers are working on an extension for Rasheed Walker like 4 weeks ago. Do we know that isn't true, though, William?
Right.
It's true.
They've been working with him on an extension, just like there could be an offer on the table for – it doesn't mean it's 3 first-round picks. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he didn't say this trade is happening. He's saying there's an offer there. So,
right.
But anyway – We'll move it along. I just thought we would hit on it real quick and see. I want to get everybody's take.
Where would he even play though? I mean, because they used him as a walk-up backer more or less. Are we playing him on the edge?
He started as a stack backer. Now they use him as an edge rusher. They have the last couple of years, to the best of my knowledge. So I think he would play edge personally.
Opposite of Rashawn.
Yeah. And, people say, well, we've already got LVN, we got Rashawn. We know how they like to rotate. And Rashawn's contract next year blimps a little bit more. The guaranteed money's pretty much gone, meaning you can get out of – you're still going to have a cap penalty if you moved on from Rashawn, but you would free up a lot of cap space. So if you could move on from Rashawn next year, pick up a younger, more productive version of an edge defender and free up that partial of that cap space, re-sign Micah Parsons to a 4-year deal, that's the only way I can make sense of it. The thought of keeping Rashawn, giving Micah Parsons anywhere from 30 to 40 million per a year, and you've got LVN who he seems like he's absolutely blossoming this year, right? It's early in camp, but boy, oh boy, he put on another show today. People seen the mic'd up. If you ain't seen the mic'd up video of LVN throwing the hezzy on people, Lord have mercy, man. That dude, he's looking solid. So, again, that's why it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me unless you're willing to move on from Rashawn. So if it were me and you go, okay, what would you be willing to give up? I wouldn't give up no more than a first-round pick. One first-round pick because we got to give this guy a huge contract. Look, he's already ticked off. I'm seeing the people say give Rashawn Gary, LVN a first-round pick and Romeo Dobbs. I'm going, no, not me. If you want to give Romeo in a first, maybe get back a fourth or something, I'd probably be okay with that because I don't think they're going to extend Romeo Dobbs. I could be wrong. Those are the players that are kind of primed for the trade, in my opinion. But then you look at it from the Cowboys standpoint. Will we rather take Romeo Dobbs on the last year of his contract, and we may not even extend him, seeing that we've got CeeDee Lamb on that extension.
And they just brought in Pickens.
Yeah. I think you'd rather have a draft pick, you know what I mean? So an extra draft pick, I should say.
And that's like Goody's looking at it is I spent all this time building this roster to get it to this point, and I'm gonna get rid of 3 of my players for one guy that I don't know, hasn't ever played in our defensive system. Not that he can't do it, I'm not saying that, but I mean, yeah, he's a first rounder, 12th pick. We brought in Isaiah Simmons. They're not the same player, but same kind of approach. Can I get a cheap version of a Micah? And I mean, I don't know. I think the Cowboys would definitely just tag him and keep moving.
If you think too, Jacob, I'll get your take here. But I was sitting there thinking, like, is there precedent for this in terms of a trade? No, not for Goody, right? But there is precedent for him paying top dollar for 2 edge defenders. We've seen that with Zadarius and Preston coming around free agency. Go ahead, Jacob. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, I was just gonna say it reminds me of that old kind of meme or whatever. It's like I want to. Can I get some Micah Parsons? And we got Micah Parsons at home, and then it's Isaiah Simmons. But I don't know. Like you said, there is precedent. We're wanting to pay 2, but I really do believe that. I just think that they're comfortable with the progress that LVN and Cox and Enigbare have showed, and that's not even now getting into the Baron Sorrell conversation. Like Amelia said, you've taken so much time, so much. Recruiting and scouting, and then the draft and the training for these guys that were kind of like your little projects, and you just want to throw them all down the pipeline so you can get a guy like Amelia said that is not tested and true in our system. I'm sure that he would do fine, but I'm a little too drunk to taste that chicken.
I completely understand. Wade Durbin says awesome content, gentlemen. Thank you, Wade. Appreciate you, man. Go ahead.
Do you think anything has to do with his agent being David Mulugheta?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, I do.
David Mulugheta is the new Drew Rosenhaus. Drew Rosenhaus in the late 90s, early 2000s was the super agent. Mulugheta is just crushing it, dude. He's the boogeyman right now for front office. Although Goody did say he loves working with Mulugheta. I remember him saying that about Jordan Love. Like, yeah, we got a really good working relationship with David Mulugheta and their agency and everything. That kind of makes you go, a little bit too, right, with this. But I don't know.
Dude, well, I got a conspiracy. David Mulugheta is Ricky, and all he does is throw out posts when he knows he's got a scoop, and then also when he knows he doesn't have anything, he wants to kind of inflate his client's stock, dude. That would be honestly brilliant.
We figured it out.
Got it. Sorry, Tim.
Soldier in the chat says, hey, guys from Australia. Hey, what's up, man? Thank you so much.
What time is it over there?
Let's put another shrimp on the bobby.
Oh, boy. Yep, there it goes.
See, every time. This is why we can't have international friends, Jacob.
What time is it over there? Give me a wild guess right now.
Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, that is – I don't know.
It's yesterday, isn't it? It's yesterday. Yeah.
I would say it's. I'm gonna take the easy route here and just say I think it's 7 o'clock in the morning over there. What do you think?
Oh,
Yeah,
you're close.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
9:40.
Right.
Okay,
I'll take that.
I like that.
Honestly, yeah, that's pretty much on the opposite side of the world. So
Yeah, nice cup of coffee.
Yeah, it is. So I was wrong. I thought it was in the past. It's the future.
He's watching Good Morning. He's watching Good Morning Lambo right now. That's it.
There you go.
See?
Man.
All right, let's move it along. We've wasted so much time. Thank you so much for tuning in from Australia, though, Soldier. We appreciate you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into joint practice from today. We're going to start on offense, although that wasn't really the highlight of the day. We won't spend a whole lot of time on it because I really want to get in the defense, which they absolutely balled out. Obviously, this is a joint practice with the Indianapolis Colts from earlier today. Actually, let's do this. Let's lead off with the injury news, okay? Let's lead off. What is your all's prop?
No, sorry. Affam says he's beating Emilio and Madden in the future.
That'd be rough.
All right. Wes Hawkwood said Matt LaFleur said Jordan Love's thumb procedure went well, and they'll see how much he can do next week. QB1 isn't practicing today, but still doing his trademark handshakes with the running backs. I'm going to roll this along here. You see him out there with the guys, but you'll notice the left hand, boys. We got a cast out there. We got a cast on it, right? See it? You can turn around. He's hiding it pretty well right now. So he's got that thing casted up, and we'll hear from Jordan here in a second.
The white sleeve is a good call to hide the white cast.
Oh, yeah.
My man knows what he's doing. Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Definitely. Ryan Wood said Jordan Love has his red number 10 practice jersey draped over his head and a cast over hood surgically repaired over his, I think he meant. I think he's been drinking today. Over his surgically repaired left thumb 2 days after his operation, not practicing today, but in attendance with the team. And then I wanted to get into what Jordan Love had to say. We got a couple of videos here where they were interviewing him. Let's see what Jordan Love had to say real quick. Shouldn't be too long-winded. Matt Schneidman tweeted this out. Jordan Love says he probably wouldn't have gotten away or gotten surgery if this was the regular season. Here we go.
So that was part of the debate is, whether you get surgery or whether you don't get surgery. If this is in the middle of the season, it probably would have been something that we didn't get the surgery on. But, with it still being early and I'm having time to recover and be fully ready for week one, the recommendation was for the surgery.
That's all I wanted to hear, boys. Fully ready for week one. So, again, he's not going to come out and go, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'll be ready for week one. He's not going to say that, but I think everything is going as planned. This is all precautionary. As he said, I believe he said in another video too, might be right here, Jordan Love refers to the time he'll miss as a couple of days. He says he'll start practicing again next week. Now, he did say that if there had been a game, they would not have had it surgically repaired. Like if this was regular season, they would have just rolled with it. And it was something that they probably could have managed throughout the season. So what's your all's take on it? Jordan Love and the thumb injury here.
Well, you got it taken care of, right, Jacob?
Yeah, no, I agree. When Matt LaFleur was asked about it, they said, it's going to take him a couple weeks to get into the groove. And he said he'll be throwing next week. So to me, that is, it's a little concerning to like Coach. I know Coach seemed like he was worried about it in a previous comment. And now he also said it. It doesn't look good or doesn't look like a couple of days. I think they're just being super overcautious, trying to protect that non-throwing hand. And I'm pretty confident, Coach, it will be kind of a nothing burger in the next couple of weeks. It'll kind of settle. And I could obviously be wrong. I'm not a doctor. You know that. But just the way that even Matt, Matt's usually very kitschy with the way he answers the reporters. He was straight up like, no, he'll be throwing the ball next week. So if that's the case, I do believe that if this was mid-season, early season, end of the season, that he just gut it out. But why not get it done if you can,
Right. Some other injury news here. Emilio Matt Schneidman tweeted out, Jaden Reed is out of his walking boot but not practicing. He walks out to practice here in Westfield with Romeo Dobbs, Savion Williams, and Dontavion Wicks. All also not practicing. Christian Watson obviously out too. I don't know if you can see him walking across here, but he's out of the boot. Right there, you see him in the front leading the way. Do we notice a limp at all? Kind of does look a little limpy, or has he just got that swag? He might have.
I think that might be a little bit of swag. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's tough though. You see your top. You see basically your top four receivers not here, right? I was thinking for a second, who's out there catching the ball for Malik anyway right now?
Exactly.
I mean, Matthew Golden's the only one out there. I mean, he is getting the reps in. He's running extra. He's got extra sprints. Dude's going to be conditioned at this point.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, I love it. We're getting into the body language now. We're getting into good stuff. He said the video of our wide receivers walking down the field looked terrible body language. Call me an old man, but I didn't like the body language. There's the body language right there. Walking the mile. Remind you of. Now, listen, it's why we've got to look at the offensive side of practice today and go, okay, let's don't freak out here. They were missing a ton of people, right? Defense, however, boy, oh boy, that was a lot of fun to see those updates, and we'll get to that here in a second. So let me ask you guys real quick, and then we'll get into the overall injury report and then the offensive side of the practice. What do you guys think about Jaden Reed? Do you think he'll be ready week 1 or no? Emilio, go.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good to go. It's kind of like a Jordan Love thing, a little bit more time, but you have this week, finish up the rest of this week, you have next week, then you have another week off, right? And then we play the week after that. So, I mean, we still have almost 3 weeks till game time. I think we're totally fine.
What about you, Jacob? You think you'll be ready to go week 1?
Yeah, it's starting to make me a little more nervous than I wanted to initially admit. I mean, like we all just talked about, Dobbs, Reed, Wicks. It's getting tougher and tougher to kind of just smile through the news mill, the rumor mill, that sort of thing. But if anything, it would be more of like we don't want to force him back just to get him back, and maybe we feel more comfortable with the depth we have at wide receiver. I want to see Savion step up. Some of maybe these long shot guys like the Malik Heath, obviously Mecole Hardman, even a guy like Nair. I really am starting to like what he's done, and I just think that also it increases the likelihood that Bo Melton makes the initial 53 quite a bit, just for break glass in case of emergency type situations. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous.
Right. We're going to hit this injury report, wrap this segment up here. Jason, I'm going to hit your super chat. I'll just keep it on the screen real quick. Just a quick rundown of the other injuries. Okay, Savion Williams is also not practicing today. Returning was Izzy Abanikanda with the hammy, so he's trying to get back into the fold there and potentially win a spot on that practice squad. Obviously, did not participate was Romeo Dobbs, Jordan Love, Zane Anderson, Xavier McKinney, Jaden Reed, Dontavion Wicks, and Nate Hobbs. As those are all starters, right? Well, with the exception of Zane, those are all starters, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. It's pretty impressive that the team did as well as they did on defense, in my opinion, without Xavier McKinney, without Nate Hobbs, right? Anderson obviously is one of those rotational guys when you get into the 2s and the 3s. So there's your injury report in its entirety.
I feel like if any of those were really that bad, they would be more worried about the wide receiver issue currently. Like Goody would be trying to, do more to bring in wide receivers if they were actually worried about long-term things there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, so there you go. There's your injury report. Let's hit the super chat, and then we'll get on the offensive side of the ball. Jason Watt, thank you so much, buddy. He says, what do you make of Orlovsky's quarterbacks by trait chart? Jason, I seen that come through. I don't know if you guys seen it or not, but I seen it come through, and I didn't spend a whole lot of time looking at it. I peeped a couple of players on it, but I was listening to the McAfee show the day that they brought it up, and Dan Orlovsky sounded embarrassed by it. Like, it was just like he grades them by traits, right? And one of the traits is mechanics. It's like, okay, how does their mechanics look? Aaron Rodgers didn't make the top 10 in mechanics, and they roasted the hell out of Dan Orlovsky over. It's like, this guy is known as the greatest thrower of the football in the history of the game, and he didn't make the top 10 in mechanics. And Dan Orlovsky went, yeah, I really don't have an answer for that. So it's like, who made you put this list together? And obviously it's people at ESPN that did. So I don't put any stock in it at all, Jason, because I think that a large majority of the quarterbacks in the league, they have damn near top level traits on most of those traits, like mechanics and things like that, or else they wouldn't be in the league. Yeah, I'm a boring fan. I don't look at the league and go, boy, that's a bunch of bad. There's a handful of good players and a bunch of bad players. I don't look at it that way. I look at the way Coach McCarthy used to say, there's no bad players in the NFL. You got good players and great players. And most of the time, the difference between a good and a great player is the position they're put in, the surrounding cast, the scheme. Does it fit what they do well? All those things, right? So I don't put a whole lot of stock in it. What do you guys think? Did y'all get a chance to see that chart by chance?
I didn't.
No.
Okay. We could probably pull it up if y'all wanted to, but
Love was outside of the top 10. Rodgers wasn't on there. I mean,
Rodgers did not make the top 10. And again, this is it. He didn't make the top 10 overall. He didn't make the top 10 overall. No, this is just for quarterbacks right now in the league. But the mechanics thing was what blew me away. When they brought that up, I just tuned it out. I'm like, okay, that's just absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers is dropping off or not? That dude, anyone who says he is not top 10 in mechanics of throwing the football, what are we doing? So anyway, I love somebody just randomly, and thank you for the super chat, Jason Watt. Somebody just randomly said Caleb Williams is bad. Let me ask you guys this. Well, we're way off the mark here tonight.
We haven't gotten anything.
What's new, man? This is
Did you guys hear about Ben Johnson's comments? Who was I listening to earlier? I was listening to somebody earlier today. I think it was the McAfee show, actually. Yeah. And they said that they played the audio from Ben Johnson, and it sounds like Caleb didn't play in the first preseason week because he's struggling to pick up the offense,
yes,
terminology and everything.
I did hear that.
And Ben Johnson said, yeah, we threw everything at him, and then we'll dilute that down. We just want to test him as much as we can. But it sounds like, Jacob, he didn't even have enough grab of the offense for them to feel comfortable putting him on the field is what it sounds like. And again, the guys on the McAfee show, the way they responded to that was they said, dang, if you put him out there and he can't even call a play, he don't even understand where guys are supposed to be, you're going to embarrass the hell out of him. You're going to kill his confidence, right? What does that tell you guys about Caleb? I'm telling you, man, elite arm talent. There's no two ways about it. But up here, there's something missing there. There's something missing. Anyway, Jacob, go ahead. And we'll try not to make nail polish if we can.
No, I won't. Already done that enough. We'll get to your super chat in a second here, Dan. I heard multiple things about that. I think even maybe Ryan commented on some sort of report that said that up until this whole last week that he couldn't get him aligned right. He couldn't even get the play calls in. He couldn't. I mean, he was struggling with the terminology to the point where they had to, we heard about early in preseason where they were stopping practice, making guys realign. Ben having a little bit of crashes out and rage outs. I would have imagined that had you, like you just said, if the mental capacity was all there, I feel like Ben, that to me sounds like a lie, Ben. We're going to throw everything at him and just overload him while we're trying to get him ready for a new season. And like that to me seems the opposite of what a guy would do if you're coming in with a brand new system, brand new coach with a new player. They complain so much that Caleb has never had consistency with the coaching staff that he's had while he's in Chicago up to this point. So why would you sit there and try to overload him, make him basically mentally fizzle out to the point where you're not even willing to throw him on the field? There may be I don't know. I smell some doo-doo. You know what I'm saying? I think
get ready to go.
Yeah, Emilio, what do you think on this, man? Because I'm kind of with Jacob. Like to me, it sounds like it was Ben Johnson almost providing an excuse before there's a reason for an excuse. Like, yeah, we really threw the book at him. Type thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson's asking way too much right now for Caleb, and I want to say it was Greg Cosell or Ross Tucker, one of them were talking about Caleb. Just if he's going to start, he really needs to up the processor a little bit. He was doing good things. He was doing this good, that good. But I'm pretty sure it's Ross Tucker. Like the fact that he's not playing in the preseason games when you need to be getting reps to your players on a new offense with a new O-line and all this stuff, it doesn't make any sense. Why are you trying to hide him or pull the curtain cover over his eyes, whatever? Like that's not going to help the team in the long run. You might as well bite the bullet and take the hit. If you're worried about the media, take the hits now in preseason so that it can get shaken off and try to move forward. That's how I'd probably approach it. But I want that. I mean, if he's gonna go up in flames, it's got to happen on the field. It can't be happening in practice behind closed doors.
You know what this is the equivalent of? When me and Mandy go out to dinner and we hit up Tupelo honey or something and we bring back just the most amazing leftovers, and then Clayton wakes up at 3 a.m. and gets in the kitchen, and grabs him a snacky snack, right? It would be like her rolling out of bed the next morning, walking in the kitchen, immediately looking at her and go, I didn't eat your leftovers. That's what it feels like. That's what seriously, it's like you could tell he's a little bit on edge. And here's the other thing. Bagent, the backup quarterback, he didn't have no problem going out there, did he?
Nope.
Right.
So you can't look at it and go, the system's just too hard. They need to water it down a bit. He picked it up just fine. why didn't Caleb? So Dan Mullen, sorry for the delay on the super chat, but I just wanted to hit that while we were on topic. Appreciate you so much, but you're too generous. He says, Golden looking good off the jump and seeing LVN looking like he's taking a leap. Granted, it's mostly practice, is what I'm really happy to see during this camp. Go, Pack, go. Very well said, Dan. And again, we started to see, I'm not surprised with LVN. I'm excited because people are starting to kind of see what we talked about in the second half of the season. Remember, we were getting raked over the coals, and Ryan did a great job breaking down his episode going, man, LVN has cranked it up here down the stretch. Like he was, I want to say the second half of the season, he was like at a 15% pressure rate.
I thought it was more. I thought it was like 16 or 17.
It may have been. But he still finished, I want to say hovering right around an 11% pressure rate, even with the slow start and having a cast on one of his hands, right, on his thumb. So it doesn't surprise me that he's looking to take that step because he's getting other opportunities running with the ones now, where in the past when Preston Smith was here last camp, you've seen it. Preston Smith was running with the ones and LVN was kind of getting the scraps, the leftovers there. So I'm excited, Dan. I love your energy, man. I think Golden – I've been a Packer fan since roughly 2003, and I can't remember a camp where we came in and go, whoa, look at this draft pick wide receiver. There's been a couple that's flashed a little bit. Like Christian Watson, you guys remember when we drafted him? Man, this guy's got elite speed. He's got size. If he can learn how to run routes and catch the ball, he's going to be dynamic, right? That was the take. Matthew Golden, you're going speed, check. Hands, check. Route running, check. Learning a system where you're a moving Z and going from semi-stack to stack and cheat motion and all those things like Sarkisian ran, check. All right, this guy looks like he's right out the box. This is a brand new Milwaukee tool, Emilio. This ain't one, you should find.
That's a fuel. No, that's a fuel version. Okay, we're not talking no basic. I mean, that's no Ryobi or rigid knockoff.
Hey,
okay.
Come on, there's nothing wrong with Ryobi.
No, but seriously, I mean, that Golden has taken off. I watched he ran like one whip route, and the dude had 5 yards of separation. It was crazy. But yeah, even on LVN's mic'd up, you could kind of see. I think Coach said it. He's building his pass rush repertoire and all that. That's you can kind of see. He almost gave the dude like a little slight hezzy, and then dip underneath, or club over hand usage. I really excited about LVN getting out there, and then even with that little interview with The Rock, he knew that defense just played really well today, getting out there and showing up for him. But yeah.
Do you guys remember, Jacob? You remember in the I believe it was this free agency, we were talking about Charvarius Ward wouldn't be a bad pickup, right?
Yeah,
at cornerback.
Yep.
This is Matthew Golden against Charvarius Ward right here. Look, whoop.
Wonderful. Ooh, I like it. I like it so much. Thank you, Dan, for the super chat. And it's nice to see Dan and other Packer fans. What's crazy about our podcast and our chat is predominantly, other than the AFM, we're pretty positive, but it has been weird. I've been looking at like random Twitter accounts and Facebook accounts. There's a lot of negativity going around right now. And if you have the chance, Ryan went real hard this morning. I'm not sure if you guys got to listen. He spent a good hour and 40 minutes breaking down, because he basically did it from the perspective of a Packers fan, how we're always crying about this and that. We think we're the only team in the league that has any sort of injury issues, drama issues, salary issues. He literally went through almost every single NFL team, took time to find sound bites, press releases, Twitter posts, and showed how every single one of them thinks the sky's burning. And I mean, I kept listening. I mean, you get the point right away, and he drilled that sucker in over and over and over, and then ended it just perfectly. So if you have a chance, and if you really want to have some entertainment and really take a 30,000 foot view and look at the fact that everybody's fan base can have a little bit of that pessimism, it's just better to be optimistic. That's what preseason is for, guys. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, I've said it over and over and over. We have people come through this chat and come through this channel, and mostly in the comments. They're not in the live stream, but I'll get comments, after the show's over. And they're bashing us for being positive. And I always tell them, and I mean this respectfully, like, this ain't the show for you. I waited from February. Really, I didn't even wait. I mean, we jumped right into the tape from last year and just kept watching football year round. But I'm waiting this whole offseason for the new football season. And the second it gets here, we're going to be miserable. It's just crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But anyway, it was cool seeing him cook Charvarius Ward here. And listen, I know they're one-on-ones too. Most of the time, the offensive player wins these. But here he is against Colts DB Alex Johnson, I believe.
I think this is the one I saw.
Look at this. Oh, my goodness. And both throws to him as well, not the dog on the quarterbacks too much, but they were throws behind him, right? Like they're not like on the money and him having to adjust. But again, that right there, we're going to do it, boys. We do it every episode. You ready for this? I need somebody to help me right here. I need a screenshot so I can throw the arrows on it. You know, I wish I had the arrows right now. We need a screenshot of this right here and just put cooked underneath it. That's all I need to see. But look at that. I mean, he completely turns him around. And I don't know who this DB is. He may be a scrub, right? But Matthew Golden, man.
The Colts are supposed to have such a good secondary. That's why they let Ballentine walk, even though they thought he'd be like they were stacked in the cornerback room, apparently.
The footwork, the hands, the body control, just everything with Golden, man, it looks solid. It really does. And you know the other thing too, we talk about how we want a bigger body receiver. Like we were crazy about Jaden Higgins, right, Emilio, going into the draft. There were several players that we were like Trey Harris, another one I want to say he was like 6'2", if I remember correctly. Big body receivers, they're exciting. But you know what comes with big body receivers a lot of the time? Injuries. It just happens. Right, they're a little leaner typically. I mean, Christian Watson, right? You look at him; he's a wiry dude. Now he's put on weight since he's gotten here, and he's kind of stayed banged up a little bit. I think that just kind of goes with the territory when you got a bigger body receiver. These tight body guys like this, like Matthew Golden. Think of Randall Cobb. How often Randall Cobb was he's just a very, very tight build, right? Just compact. By the way, Johnny Manziel was on the Pat McAfee show today. And he said, as they wrapped up the interview, he said, anything else you want to promote or whatever, Johnny? He said, yeah, we got a thing coming up, a TV show. Be on the lookout for it. And it was something special forces where they take former NFL players and they make special forces train them. He said, yeah, if you want to tune in and watch Randall Cobb kick my ass in a boxing match, check it out. So evidently him and Randall Cobb box on it, and Randall Cobb smoked his head, dude. And he said, I think he said that dude's built like a bull or something like that. It was awesome. So, again, my point is Matthew Golden kind of got that tighter frame, a lot of muscle on him, right? You know what I mean, Emilio? It just seems like that type of guy is going to stay healthy. Greg Jennings didn't have a whole lot of muscle on him, but built the same way. They tend to stay healthier, it seems like, man.
Right, yeah. Matthew Golden's kind of like a nice, solid, Toyota Camry, a nice Honda Civic, and then you got everybody else over there on their, Mitsubishi Mirage or like a key, something crazy, and that's because he's just reliable. Trust you, 250,000, no problem. Do the brakes once on it, oil changes. That's it. I mean, that's I think what we're getting from him. He's consistent and he's reliable. I think that is two huge factors of his play that are just going to carry him through the season. Because if Jordan Love can, count on him, if Malik can count on him, if you can go to him in a time of need without having to think about it. Hey, look at the hands. I mean, he's making all these catches. They're not put on the run. I mean, that's me when I'm under pressure in college football, just trying to get it out to the guy. Hopefully he catches it.
Yeah, and Jacob, I know I seen the chat light up when I said you want a guy with a tighter body, a tighter frame, a tighter build. Boy, they went absolutely nuts. So you got anything to say here on Matthew Golden before we move on, man?
Well, as a tight-bodied guy myself, in all jokes aside, I do think there is something to that where it's like they're not having to overexert themselves by carrying that extra kind of baggage. It's just not so much, impact on the joints and all that. How much do we love watching Eddie Lacy just barrel into people? The only problem is Eddie Lacy lasted like 2.5, 3 seasons before that body just said, I can't do this anymore. And it's nice to see that. I'll keep saying it over and over. I did not expect Matthew. I did not see this coming. I thought he would be a second-year pop maybe, and maybe be like a third-year developer at best. He, to me, seems like he's the real deal. He really does.
He does, man. I'm excited about it. Now, listen, we're always going to, put it out there that this is, the third week of training camp, right? We're getting ready to go into your second preseason game. We may be getting the cart, before the horse a little bit. But right now, based off what we've seen, I don't remember seeing a rookie receiver with these kind of traits personally. I think Goody might have nailed this big, but hopefully that holds to be true. And shout out to Ryan Wood. He was the one who provided that video right there over on X. Make sure you go give him a follow. Matt Schneidman put a couple tweets out here. Now, again, we expected the offense to struggle today with everybody that was out, right? We kind of talked about that. We'll go rapid fire through the rest of this offensive segment. Matt Schneider said, disjointed first 11-on-11 period for the Packers offense. Penalties and incompletions. One notable completion was Taylor Elgersma having plenty of time to hit Isaiah Nayer for a big gain down the left side. Understandable given Packers without quarterback and 5 wide receivers, but still not pretty. So just want to mention Isaiah Nayer. He's starting to, we talk about the checks you give people during camp. He's starting to tally them up, boys. That might be a good practice squad candidate there. Matt Schneider said, no scuffles, but Tucker Kraft got in Zaire Franklin's face after the play. I'm standing behind big humans on the Colts sideline, so didn't see exactly what happened. Play was an incompletion where Matthew Golden ended up on the ground, so Tucker Kraft swooped in there, was ready to lay the smack down on Zaire Franklin. Again, that came out from Matt Schneidman, their little offensive update for you. Moving along now, the next tweet he put out, it's not pretty for the Packers offense today. 4 and out for the starters in the 2-minute and 3 incompletions and a sack. Sounds like both defenses are winning the day. We'll get to our defense here in a second. The big bright news of the day, though, Brandon McManus just hit a 70-yard field goal that bounced off the crossbar and in. Wasn't during a live period. They were just messing around, but he did bank a 70-yarder off the crossbar, and it bounced over. And then I think it says here, Matt Schneidman, the final update, Packers just kicked 8 field goals during live team period. Brandon McManus, good from 38, good from 41, good from 44, good from 47, good from 56. So he's perfect on the day, right? Mark, how do you say it? McNamee? Is that how we're saying that? I think that's right.
I think so.
McNamee. All right. He was good from 40, 42, and 45. So we were perfect on the day with both kickers. And I know some people kind of roll their eyes at that. Not me, man. Not after the nightmare we went through a few years ago. So anything else you guys want to add to the offensive side before we move on to defense here?
Yeah, I love J. Cole's message. She goes, LMAO, McManus is just doing anything at this point. He's bored. It's
Right.
like, oh, you want a 50-yarder? Yawn. All right, sure. One other thing I wanted to highlight was our resident doc here, Holmes MD, says overly muscular and powerful athletes are actually more likely to have soft tissue injuries due to exerted muscle contactile. What does that say? Contactile forces. That's kind of what so
thick.
Yeah.
There you go.
He is. Yeah.
All right. That's you got anything else on offense, Emilio, before we move on to hour 2 here, man?
No.
Good. All right. That's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2. You're going to want to tune into this. The defense absolutely showed up and showed out at joint practice with the Colts. We'll see you over there. Appreciate you.
For those of you listening on the pod,
welcome into hour 2. Let's get into some defense talk.
In a dumpster.
If you had to guess which side of the defense, which part of the defense stood out today, guys, what would it be? Just based off of how camp's gone so far, what would you say is, I would probably say it's the pass rush. I'd probably say it's the stack backers. I'd probably say it's the safeties. What do you guys think it would be?
I feel like you're setting me up, but I would say, D-line or edge.
There you go. Bang. It happened all day long. I'm so excited to get into this. Ryan Wood tweeted out, good start for the Packers defensive line against the Colts offense, especially against the run. Then Rashawn Gary comes around the edge for a sack, and then somebody hit him with the whole – yeah, there's a clear version right there. So Rashawn Gary getting the party started, setting the tone for the defensive side of the ball, right? And then after that, surprise, surprise, Ryan Wood puts a tweet out and says, Lucas Van Ness turns the corner on Colts. What's that say? LR. I think he meant left tackle. Bernard Raymond
Yep.
For the sack. He's having a good camp. That's a former first-round pick. So Lucas Van Ness getting in on the sack party here. You're seeing a theme, right? You're seeing a kind of a common occurrence here in this camp. They're really starting to crank it up. Now we're going to fast forward a little bit. We'll get to some more of the individual stuff. But look at this tally here. Ryan Wood, Packers sacks so far. Rashawn Gary beats Braden Smith with speed off the edge. Lucas Van Ness beats Raymond with the speed edge. Quay Walker blitz up the middle, gets a sack. Tyron Hopper blitz up the middle with the sack. Kobe Wooden with the power inside rush. You guys know when I watched the tape against the Jets, I didn't think Kobe Wooden had as good of a game as the coaches said, and pretty much every other fan in our chat said. I was the only person that didn't see it quite as glamorous as everybody else did, and obviously I was wrong. Anytime everyone else is saying something and Clayton is saying something the opposite, I'm going to own up to him and go, I must have missed something here. But here he is, joint practice, Emilio, Kobe Wooden with the power inside rush for the sack, man. Look at, I mean, this is wild. And we did get it confirmed. I think Ryan Wood confirmed it on Twitter. It was their starting offensive line. Not a great offensive line, but it was their ones. It wasn't like a sprinkle of their twos.
Yeah. No, I'm happy Kobe put the weight on because, like I said before, I had him as a bubble guy, wasn't sure, and I'm glad I'm eating my words because I think having a dude that's been in the system for a couple of years, he knows he's worked alongside Brooks. They got a tandem. You know, he can block field goals, extra points, all that. Just good things to have on the team. Put some weight on, wants to work hard in the offseason, worked hard to get, a degree. I just like that mentality. And why get rid of a guy that wants to kind of put in that effort? How much do you really love football? I was listening to that Cowboys pod, and that's what they were talking about is they think that they have a problem trying to find guys. They can, scout out players, not a problem. They think that they need to get better at scouting out. Do you love football? Are you a guy in that sense? Do you love what your job is going to be the next, 5 to 10 years, depending. So I think that this team and the Packers really have done just a great job finding those kind of players, family, community, and the drive of wanting to do their job.
Yeah, Jen Wright in the chat here, Jacob says Covington leaving a mark. I mean, you're seeing it immediately. I completely agree, Jen. And that's me running it through the filter of Tim on the sidelines going, Clayton, Covington is so freaking organized. Tim was happy. I don't want to say happy with I remember him being positive about Rebovich, right? Like, man, he's fire on fire. He's very intense, right? And then the second that Covington come in, you could tell things kind of shifted. I wish Tim was here so I could make sure I'm not putting words into his mouth. The vibe I get from him, Jacob, is Coach Covington is so organized, dude. And you pointed it out, right? I don't remember seeing this type of equipment in camp and some of the stuff they're using in the pass rush set. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We did highlight that just multiple times over the last week or two, and it just seems a whole different type of energy in there.
read that for us.
2-0 for this says, leaving a mark like Michael Scott and the Benihana waitress. I marked her arm.
Best episode ever.
It's so good.
Yeah. What did he say? What did Dwight say, Amelia? You got to start on one side and bring it all
the
way
around. Yeah, they're talking.
Gotta get a bucket, so there'll be a lot of blood.
Yeah. Then he's stealing the people next to him their food and everything.
Yeah.
Just
it's family style. No, it's not.
Look, it's never too early to start talking about next year. Either Coach Lynn says Covington, our new DC, or if Hafley gets his head coach job next season. Here's the thing, Coach. Would it be Covington? Covington struggled in New England as DC, right? And he's only had one shot at it. For me personally, who's been here the longest? And I could be wrong. But who's been here the longest with Jeff Hafley? I know it's just their second year, but I'm thinking Derek Ansley would be my pick right now. And then you maybe promote Coach Covington to kind of second in command, right? Who's the other assistants that come to mind, guys? That's the two I can really think of because our Italian stallion ended up going down to did he go back to Miami or Jacksonville, didn't he?
Jacksonville, I thought. Yeah. What about Ainsley? Do you think he's got enough?
Yeah, DA.
Juice?
For
That's
sure.
what we're talking about. Yeah, Derek
sorry.
Ansley. Yeah, I think that would be my pick, although I can understand why Coach Lynn would want to go with Covington. What do you think, Amelia? Who would be your DC, man?
Yeah, I think it would probably be DA. That was my first thought. The secondary is always talking about it. It's a passing league. I feel like you would kind of lean on that sort of aspect of it. Looking at the defense, you got Hafley, a coordinator, passing game coordinator is DA. He's already passing game coordinator, which is, just one step down from DC at that point. D-line, you got DeMarcus Covington.
About Coach O. What about Olabasi?
He's gone. He was the old D-line coach, right?
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was going to say is, like, when you look at the other D-line coaches, like, Ogabasi's still here, right?
Yeah, he's not gone.
Oh, there. I'm sorry. You're right. Assistant. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. He's right here.
Think about this. He came from Boston College with Jeff Hafley. So Jeff Hafley can take that guy with him. And that's the other thing you got to watch too is, like, whoever you pick for your DC here, everyone else is probably going with Hafley for a promotion. That's the thing that sucks about losing to DC. It's not just losing one coach. They typically, we always talk about Detroit this year and how they lost Aaron Glenn, their DC, and they lost Ben Johnson, their OC. But we don't talk enough about how not all, but a good chunk of those assistants went with them too.
They probably took 3 apiece, something like that. But yeah, your only other options really, you have Wendell Davis, quality control. Ryan Downers,
Ball King.
Yep. And Sean Dugan, linebackers. And then you have Jeff Kuntz, defensive assistant, quality control, Jamal Lett, and then Vince Ogabasi. So, yeah, you don't have a bunch of options, but you would want to have someone hopefully in-house that's kind of run with it and knows at least that direction that they want to go. But I do think DA is the go-to.
Yeah, Jen Wright says make half a co-head coach. So here's how that works, Jim. They can't block a promotion. And what I mean by that is the only way we could keep Jeff Hafley on the Packers if he's offered a head coaching job is if we give him our head coaching job. Right?
Unless he just denies it straight up, right?
He could deny it. That's correct.
Right.
Ben Johnson did that, if you'll remember, right? Ben Johnson did that and then waited a year. So in terms of that, the only way we could keep him is if we let Matt LaFleur go and Hafley becomes our head coach. I don't want to speak for everyone. I know I don't want that. I would much rather have.
So is that the only move that they could? Because isn't Pisaccia assistant head coach?
He was assistant head coach. Now here's the thing: if another team offers Jeff Hafley assistant head coach in DC, I believe that's technically a promotion. He could leave for that. And then we'd have to make a decision: do we let go of Bisaccia and promote Jeff Hafley into that? Which Bisaccia almost didn't come back this year. But again, we're talking about Hafley taking a head coaching job. I don't think he would leave for another DC spot. And even if the Packers approved it, you know what I mean? I think
I almost think I would hope Hafley at least had maybe a 3-year plan. Okay, I'm going to get up there first year, see what happens. Second year, go through it. If we knock on wood, bring home the Lombardi, perfect. I would still love him to be around for maybe one more. He doesn't need to be a lifetime DC like in the Chiefs, but let's do a little 3-year plan and then move on from there. Right.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to keep bringing these assistants in. That's why I really feel like Coach LaFleur hasn't rested on that. It would have been real easy to just bring in Hafley. Okay, that's good. Now we'll put a young staff together. No, he went and got another former DC in Ansley. He went and got another former DC in Covington. And you've got to keep that pipeline kind of full. That way you've got experience at the DC and even OC, right? Like there's a chance Stenovich could get a job. I think Stenovich, people look at him because he's a former offensive lineman like he's a big, dumb poopy stick or something, right? And I wanted to say dip, you know what? But anyway, he's not. If you listen to him talk, that dude is brilliant. I mean, he's a brilliant offensive mind. He really is. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting a head coaching job. But I do think other teams do kind of look at the precedent. We talk about precedent all the time. I think they also look up and go, Hackett didn't make it. Getsy didn't make a good head coach. You know what I mean? So it's probably more Matt LaFleur than it is his assistants on the offensive side. Whether that's correct or not, I think teams will be looking at it. But The sack game did not stop here, guys. I know we gave you all those updates. LVN, another sack, according to Wes Hodkowitz, right? Then this one right here got me, I think, even more excited. As Wes Hodkowitz tweeted this out. Look who joined the sack party. Sorrell, sack of Richardson, and he just dirts it. I'm also standing next to Bubba Watson, so we give a little shout-out to the golfer Bubba Watson there who was in-house. Baron Sorrell, boys, we talk about it. Keeping score, Jacob, another notch, another mark in the positive. What I do on my board is a positive green plus sign. All right, and then you tally them up. You minus the red marks off of it. You throw the green up, and and however it balances out, you keep score. All right, these are the guys that had the best camp. Baron Sorrell, it's early, but I can't wait to watch him again this weekend.
Yeah, and that goes back to our opening segment. I just don't think that we're going to bring in a guy with that much baggage and money that would stir up that room where we have guys that are absolutely, I don't want to say blue chip studs other than maybe a guy like Gary, but potential blue chip studs. I really do believe that LVN, if he takes the type of step that his body will, I mean, he's an athletic specimen. He's a freak. Brenton Cox Jr. has some intangibles you can't teach. You got a guy like Baron Sorrell who looks like he may be, I mean, everybody's given Golden all this shout out and praise, which is well deserved. And absolutely, I'd say that on the defensive side of the ball, I haven't seen many guys kind of walk into a system and sort of flash consistently and put, I think he's making, I wouldn't even say small gains every day. It seems like he's making pretty decently large gains every day. And you talked about how Half said that he's never seen a rookie make mistakes and then correct them in the same series, in the same game. He said that Baron Sorrell had done that during that first preseason game, and that's one of the reasons why he didn't think in his eyes that it was a complete failure, at least from the defensive perspective. So, man, I couldn't be more excited about Baron Sorrell, and I'm all gas, no brakes with that edge room.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Excited to see his hands. He's going to be good for us. I really do. And that's
How
where it's
about
like,
these hands?
Thank you, Jacob, because where are we going to – I mean, you would be like, all right, let's take Micah, give him picks, give him some money, and then we got to give him Sorrell. We got to give him a young talent sort of thing to make the deal worth it for the Cow. I don't like it. Homegrown, run it.
Yeah, Sam Schmidt in the chat says, do you guys have any 11 versus 11 clips? We do not, and I'll tell you why. They completely ban 11-on-11 clips. It's supposed to be banned from training camp as well. However, they're really, really strict on these joint practices. The reason you hear us say vanilla during the preseason, everybody has access to those tapes. All 32 teams do, right? So you don't want to put anything out there in preseason that your opponents can use to scout against you. Well, in these 11-on-11s at joint practices, neither team is allowed to share that footage. If you get caught sharing that footage, you're in deep dookie. Okay, so that's why there's no 11 on. I'm not saying there's not any, because there's some fans that probably recorded it, just like we got people at training camp that do, but they really want to keep that out. And the reason being, it's why these joint practices are so valuable, is those 11-on-11 situations, you're actually doing what you plan on doing in the season. You're testing that stuff out, these joint practices, as opposed to preseason. It's another way you can kind of get around allowing those clips to get out. So, all right. With that being said, we got another guy that joined the sack party today. Colts score on third down, but Carl Brooks may have had a sack on the play. AR had to step up to hit Pittman. So Carl Brooks, a little flash. You want to see that? He's had a quiet camp. Am I wrong there, guys, or am I being too harsh on Carl? Seems like we haven't heard much from him, have we?
It's been quiet, but I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think he's kind of been head down doing his work. He was out there on the field a lot, in this game. I'm not worried about him.
Yeah, you bet, Sam. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for the question, man.
Yeah, I agree with what Emilio said. It's one of those situations almost like a corner where it's like you don't hear their name flashing, but you don't hear a ton negative. So you just assume he's in there doing his job. And that's all that we can ask for a guy like Carl.
Yeah, since you brung up corners, check this out. Well, before we get to that, sorry. It's next on the list. I got a little ahead of myself. Ryan Wood tweeted out, final damage for Packers defense against the Colts, 10 sacks, 4 takeaways, at least 3 tackles for a loss. Colts had a touchdown in a 2-minute period. Only highlight today, they also had a red zone period of 22 plays. The Packers just allowed 1 touchdown, a 3-yard run. Yeah, it was like that. So, hell of a day for that defensive front, man. Now, let's move.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
And they did. Let's hit the super chat, and then we'll get over to the DB side. I got a clip to show y'all there, too. Clint, the armchair quarterback, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you. The NFL raised the roster limit to 53 players in 1993. Isn't it time to raise it again? Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about it, Clint. I think the more players, the merrier, just on the surface. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with it, right? And as a team, you would probably want to do that as well. But the NFL is just so damn good. It's so entertaining. I don't want anything to change. And I understand if I had been a fan in 1955, I would have screamed, don't change anything. We wouldn't have the game we got today, right?
Yeah.
But am I wrong there? It just feels like this. They've got this thing fine-tuned. I mean, it just it feels hungry.
What do you think?
The only thing that I would push back on that is that the fact that recently they've been adding more games and they seem to just have the games in shorter concession without having as many or not adding any more buys to it. That would be the one thing that I'd push back. Like, I wouldn't necessarily want to raise it very high, but like, just even imagine if we had 4 extra roster spots. It would make some of these battles so much more easier to understand and to kind of get that best team out there. But yeah, it is tough. Like Clayton said, I remember when they first started messing around with the kickoff rules. I'm like, that's it. Football's done. Or when they started doing the safeties, the targeting and all that kind of stuff. To me, it does dilute the game a little bit, but a year passes and we kind of all get used to the rules. It is what it is.
Yeah. What do you think, Julia?
I was want to say it was Schwartz on GM or Ross Tucker. They were talking about this, and to Jacob's point, we had the 53, but you're only dressing 48 for the game, right? So you're still kind of, you had that fluctuation of the amount of people you plan on having dressed every day and not. but they were saying on their pod, they were given the point of, hey, being a player is amazing, right? There's only so many of the players that are getting that payment. With more of the, the money deals, the TV deals, the profit sharing, all that stuff that the CBA has. Said the more you're adding players, the more you're going to kind of dilute that number for the players that have done that work, got there and gotten paid. He said, so as a former player, he was saying that he would probably steer away from that. I would think, just because that number is going to keep going down if, the owners are still trying to work. Hey, we still got to get these guys in here. If you bring it up to, 60, whatever, that just more people that got to go around, the salary cap's going to have to change. How are you going to, cover everybody there? I think it would kind of get a little messy.
Got it. And again, Clint, thank you so much for the super chat, bud. We appreciate you, man. United Bates says, think they will expand the practice squad first. Maybe I would be okay with that. I would be totally on board with that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think keep it to 53 right now. The old get off my lawn guy that I am. And then maybe expand the practice squad a little bit. So I appreciate that.
What real quick is it 16? Am I thinking correctly?
Yeah.
Squad, yeah, it's 10. I think it's you get, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, guys, but I think you get 10 regular practice squad players, and you get 6 veterans, I think. And then you get 1 international player as well, just over the overall, set to round it out from 69 to 70-man roster or what have you. So that's the way I understand it anyway. So, so back to practice here. Defense. Keyshawn Nixon with an interception, picks a pass off a deflection, dropped by A.D. Mitchell over the middle. Next rep, Mitchell catches a slant. Javon Bullard rips the football out before Mitchell was on the ground. Evan Williams recovers the fumble. Now, we got a video of this, and I got to be very, very careful here, okay? And the Packers tweeted out. I think it's okay to show it. Hopefully it is. But this is, I love the tweet they put out, the text they put out with it. Just says bully ball. Bully ball in full effect. All right, let's see if we can get this without getting in too much trouble here, okay? I'm going to hit play, maybe. Oh, got to watch the sound because they always kick the music in on us. All right, here we go. Look at Bull. Give me that rock, baby. Ooh. And then, of course, Evan Williams is just always around the football. Am I right there? I mean, always. So love to see that right there. That was an 11-on-11, obviously. But, again, watch it one more time. Look at Bull.
Dude,
that's that ball king stuff, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I watched an interview with Evan. He talked about how they had really good intensity on defense. He said they forced a ton of turnovers. I had no idea that it was 10 sacks, 4 turnovers, a bunch of tackles for a loss. It sounds like he got in there and kind of set the tone initially against the run for a tackle for loss. Also, we mentioned how Hafley said in his first preseason game presser where he was like, look, I didn't see that intensity translate from the practice field because these guys were ripping balls out. They were rapping and ripping. They were punching balls out. They were doing, the peanut Tillman, and that Ball King has been literally charting this all offseason and preseason. So this is the type of stuff I want to see. Whatever they did coach all week, it got these guys hyped up.
Definitely. What do you think, Emilio? Bull plays physical in the slot, man. I think he's poised to take another step in the slot. I feel like he played much better in the slot last year than he did safety. And now that he's got a full offseason under his belt, I mean, this dude, I think the sky's the limit for him in the slot.
Right. And I'm glad that they gave him those reps in the slot. You see KTs out there, Oladapo and Evan. So you have Bull running that nickel. I love that. And he does. He's got that kind of dog. I'm glad that what they've been preaching in practice, the attacking the ball where we didn't see that in the Jets game, that happened. It came out here. Obviously, it's still practice, but just being able to do that same thing you've been repeating and, and repping and everything, doing that in a game while also trying to stop this dude is on some, a different team than your own. I think it makes it all kind of easier.
Yeah, definitely. I like what Clint said too. What a difference a week makes. Again, though, Clint, I'm going to be that guy that says it's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems when it comes to this type of stuff preseason. But again,
LVN was saying the same thing, Clay, is that they need to come out with, they're pissed hot. They need to step it up. They even had a meeting after the Jets game. Hey, we need to come out a little better as a D-line group as a whole.
Love it, man. Love it. All right, Ryan Wood tweeted out, Jonathan Baldwin picks a deep pass for Anthony Livingston Gould from Anthony Richardson. All right. Well, it would have been a pick if Brenton Cox Jr. hadn't sacked Richardson first. This is pure domination from the Packers defense. Another guy, Jacob, Brenton Cox Jr. So he's going to take another step, man. And what's crazy is Enigbare scored out damn near in the 90s. He might have been in the 90s according to PFF in that first preseason game, and that was over 30 plus snaps. Right when every time I want to go, all right, Brenton Cox Jr. needs to get the majority of the reps. Now all of a sudden Enigbare raised his game. You know what I mean? It's just wow.
Yeah, pleasant surprise, right?
Yeah. 2-0 for this says, so he went to play for the Colts after Jan Livingston Gould divorced him. So somebody got that joke. I love it, man. Love it. All right, up next. Now, another player that struggled this past week, right? And this kind of goes hand in hand with what Clint was just saying in the chat. Isaiah Simmons struggled, right, guys? Bad week last week. Isaiah Simmons just picked off Daniel Jones to end twos for the 2 minute. So I think that means the number 2 defense against the number 2 offense. He ended up getting an interception there. So Isaiah Simmons, after that as well, another tweet. Let me try to get it on the screen quick enough for you guys. Wes Hikowitz put out says a pair of good run fits by Simmons in the twos as well. Again, I wish it was with the ones. With the backups, it doesn't mean as much. But I'm rooting for Isaiah Simmons, man. Special teams value. It was just that tape last week. I went back and watched all his snaps and watched it from the box cam. I don't know if it's fair to say he looks hesitant or a little. I don't want to say scared. That's not what I mean. He looks a little cautious playing stack backer. And maybe that's what other teams seen in him. Like he just doesn't really play the linebacker position like a true linebacker. But boy, it seemed like he showed up today, Emilio. If he steps up and that is your third backer behind Isaiah McDuffie, you feel a lot better about that linebacker room. But boy, Tyron Hopper, don't sleep on him. He's having a hell of a game. Sounds like.
Yeah, we have 4. I mean, I'm happy with the 4 we have. If you're looking at Kubquay, McDuffie, and Hopper, if Simmons can, be that guy as well, perfect. That gives us 5, and we got a rotation, and then you have some good special teams guys. But no, he's got to. If he wants to make this team, he's got to show that he can play on the 11 on defense. He can play that 4-3 wherever we want him walked up, stack whatever. I think that's something that he's got to show out. This is a perfect time to do it. You got this practice, a game, another practice probably, and then one more game, and that's all you really get.
Yeah. Coach Lynn says put him at edge and call it a day. That's one thing I will say. You try to find what players do well, and it seems like the majority of what they're putting him in terms of deployment is they're putting him at Sam in a 5-man front. Meaning he's on the line of scrimmage, on the strong side of the formation, Jacob, and he is kind of lining up as an edge defender in what we would normally call like a 34 jam looking front, right, where both guards are covered up. You got a 0 to a shade tech in the middle. The guards are covered, and then you got a couple of 7s or 9s on the outside, if that makes sense. So.
Yep. I think what Deadfish says too, he's wondering, is he just thinking too much? I think Hafley addressed that and said we want to just play him at one certain position so he doesn't have to overthink. Obviously, the big knock on Isaiah, not the big knock, I guess his big attributes is that he could be a safety, he could be a linebacker, he could be edge, he could play all over the field. But it does feel like that from the tape that you've seen, Clay, that maybe he hasn't had enough time to trust that linebacker position, and hopefully with more reps, it comes a little more natural to him. But worst case scenario, like Amelia said, I'm very comfortable with Hopper as the third if he doesn't show out, because, man, I'm very impressed with him too. And that's another one. When we made the pick, I went, oh, man, really? That guy? And then slowly but surely, Goody and the scouting team proves all us naysayers wrong. So let's remember that.
LVN was another guy that said about overthinking it too much. I think he was talking about Matt or Hafley, saying, dude, you just need to play and stop trying to be a perfectionist and trying to do everything perfectly right at 100%. Give me 95 at you running 100%. I'll take it. You don't have to take every perfect step. And I like that he's gotten to that point of, hey, we just got to go out and play football.
Yeah. You guys keep talking for a second. I'm trying to find a picture for the.
No, it's just when you said that, it reminded me of the old what was it? Panther, the cologne from Anchorman.
Yeah.
80% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
But
That's a classic.
if you had to, would you be more comfortable if absolutely like Isaiah Simmons these next 2 games doesn't show out and shows maybe more of a liability? Do you think that means that Christian Welch is more of a lock to make this team, even if it's just because of his special teams?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility because he's gotten a lot and he's done well on those special teams here. And Isaiah Simmons has been, to different teams before, and it hasn't worked out, and they've had to move on from him. Pretty much, he's always made a roster though, right? He hasn't sat on a practice squad to my knowledge, or he hasn't sat not signed by a team. So I would feel like that he's good enough, serviceable enough, but he really does need to show out, or else they're going to move on, because this next 2 games are where you're going to get reps to the guys that you think you need to see. If they're not getting reps, they're either a starter or they're gone. So I mean, that's you really only have limited time.
Holmes MD1 says Hopper reminds me of Desmond Bishop. You guys remember Desmond Bishop? Pretty sure he won a ring with the Packers that year, right? I remember standing in line. I told you guys this. We were watching Brett Favre play his first game with the Jets. We were in the Packer Pro Shop getting autographs from Robert Brooks and Antonio Freeman because the Packers were playing the next night on Monday Night Football, right? So we're standing there in line, and we're watching Brett play, and this guy was talking to in line. This was, you guys know, this was back, what would that have been, 08 or 09? I think it was 08, right?
It was 08, yeah.
When Aaron took over. And he was like, man, this is surreal. Now, I never thought I'd see Brett Favre in another jersey. This is wild, And he said, somebody else got to talk, and they were talking about Desmond Bishop. They said, that hit he laid on that Jaguar got him. He said, first time I've ever seen one hit earn somebody a roster spot. And this was the hit they're talking about. I'll never forget it. He knocked his helmet off, and in the upper part here, that's his do-rag. So his helmet one way, his do-rag went the other. And that's the hit that guy was talking about. I wish we could pull that off, find the video of it, if we wouldn't get hit with a copyright, and just let it fly for you guys, because it was, oh my God, it was absolutely.
I wonder if he got a penalty for that one.
I wonder if that's on Twitter somewhere. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Let me see if I can.
All right.
Coach with the wow.
Yeah.
Just hang out with the chat for a minute if you don't care.
Yep. So what do you? I mean, honestly, I remember Bishop during that year, and I think I remember that hit because, like I said, I used to watch the preseason games, but back then they weren't as televised. So, but I remember slowly watching him kind of develop and thinking, oh wow, like we finally have a guy in the middle. I don't remember, was Nick Barnett on that squad as well in 08?
I don't think he was. I could be wrong. I shouldn't say. I don't know if he was or not, Jacob.
I mean, are you old enough to remember Nick Barnett?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 56, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was nice, and he was nice in the older versions of Madden, Jacob. He was pretty decent.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Didn't he have a club? I remember. Was it Nick Barnett that had the club for a while?
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, he did play with the club, yeah. And he also had the mouthpiece that had the vampire fangs.
The vampire fangs, yeah, dude.
Nick Beats is what they call him, because he was a DJ too, I think. Nice. Anyway, carry on.
But it is interesting because I think that's why Packer fans, at least myself, I'm so excited about Edgerrin Cooper, because it has been a while that we had kind of that, we had Campbell for a hot minute, and that was more of a flash in the pan. And obviously we had AJ Hawk, and he had a very storied career, and then you had your Nick Barnetts. But besides that, it was a lot of kind of hits and miss throughout the drafts. I mean, I remember when we first started the podcast, I was so high on Ty Summers. You guys remember that by chance? Mm-hmm. And that's because he was the only person that responded to me on Instagram. And I was like, oh, yo, this guy's future Hall of Famer right here. He had some good moments every now and then, but Nick Perry, that's a guy I was thinking of too. I think he played with a club as well.
Yep.
So yeah, we've had some flashes in the pan, but really nothing like the linebacker room that I think that we have right now.
Yeah, you need to take that do-rag that flew off his head and put it on this guy right here. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I thought it was glasses or something at first. I thought it was honestly like he had shades on underneath or blew the visor off or something.
Oh, he crushed him. And I just combed through YouTube. We need to find it. We need to tweet that out. If somebody could find that hit, it was a preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Desmond Bishop knocked that cat's helmet off. And it might have been a special teams play, maybe. I can't remember. But boy, oh boy. And then he terrorized Brett Favre when Brett Favre came back to Lambeau his second year with the Vikings. That was a lot of fun to watch too. So Desmond Bishop was a lot. I mean, he was. Now back to the question. Somebody said they seen Tyron Hopper as a Sam backer. Here you go, Holmes MD1. Hopper is a Sam to me. I can see that, right? But think of what a Sam is supposed to do in today's game, right? They have to be able to set the edge, okay? And set the edge is a lot different than a thumper. You know, like a thumper is a guy, you've seen Hopper sifting through the action and thumping to the tackle, right? When you set the edge, you got to be strong at the point of attack, hold the edge, gap discipline, right? Hold the edge. But I think of Hopper as a mock because a mock is described as a gap destroyer, right? To me, that's what Hopper is. There you go. Coach Lynn says the same thing. I agree, Coach. And again, I'm not saying he would be a bad Sam Holmes, but I don't see him. Like when I think of a Sam, I honestly don't even think of Isaiah Simmons as a Sam personally. I think I see him more of a Will than a Sam. A Sam, I'm trying to think of somebody that would be a good Sam here recently. Honestly, Isaiah McDuffie isn't too bad at the Sam. That'd probably be yeah.
Coach Lynn Coach has said multiple times in multiple episodes that he thinks that would be his best position. And forgive me if I was reading the chat, but didn't you say that one of the things that Sam has to do in addition to setting the edge and is being able to cover these tight ends?
Yep.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Yep. You got to be able to do both for sure. Because what that means, guys, is that your Sam, it stands for strong side, right? You're the strong side backer, so you're going to line up over the tight end. Now, if you're playing an over front, then you might be, a gap or two inside of the tight end. But nonetheless, it's going to be your responsibility, especially in a matchy, sticky type coverage. You're going to have to cover the tight end for the most part. You're at least going to cover him until you pass him off to the secondary type thing. So, yeah. What is this right here? A hit like that would be a 15-yard penalty and half ejection in this area. It's true too over there, but although I don't remember it being helmet to helmet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It seemed like it was just, oh my God. That dude said it best. I'll never forget that guy either. He was wearing camouflage. This is September. Keep in mind, we're at Lambeau. It's September. Inside, it's hot outside, right? We're inside the pro shop, and this guy looked like he was about 5'7", had the most scrawny accent you'll ever hear. I was like, I could talk to this guy for hours. Had a big old long gray beard, camouflage bibs on. I'm like, it ain't cold, bub. Why you got those bibs on? And he literally looked like someone that we would have bought shine from when I was 18 years old back in Kentucky. And he's hanging out in Lambeau Field getting autographs. I was just like, God, I love this place, man. I feel so at home here. Here we go. Deb, go ahead.
No, if I'm not mistaken, is he describing the it's time, Kevin Green, and this is the play that was after that? Is that what happened, I believe?
Was it Desmond Bishop that recovered that fumble?
I'm pretty sure that's correct, yeah.
That's why I didn't even think of that. That makes sense. When I was searching YouTube just now, I typed in Desmond Bishop hit. It did pull up that Clay Matthews play. So maybe he was tagged in it because he recovered the fumble. So, yeah, man, that's a huge recovery right there. That play doesn't have the impact, period, if Pittsburgh ends up recovering it. So, yeah. All right. Good deal, man.
It is time. It is time. Dude, that gave me chills just now.
People don't understand, this was the start of the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure. I think it was is that what he said in the timestamp? Yep. So the fourth quarter, you get to the fourth quarter, right? And they're in that TV timeout. And he walks over to Kevin Green. And I know you guys, most people know this story, but Kevin Green says, everybody looks at Wood to be a leader. Well, he's gone. It's like, hey, listen, bub, your parents ain't coming to save you. Woodson's on the sideline in a sling because he broke his collarbone the last play of the first half, right? Wood, he's gone. Nobody's stepping up and rallying the troops. It's time. They go right back on the field, and Clay literally tells the guys in the huddle, I think they're running power to me. He said, they keep looking over here. I think they're going to run power to me. And back then, Pittsburgh, that offense, they run a ton of power. They love pulling the guard and the center, right? And sure enough, right before the play, he calls it out. Clay walks up to the line. He goes, spill it, Pickett, spill it. And many people don't know what that means. What he's telling Pickett is, shade back inside and dip under, leave your gap. In a 34 front, you're supposed to hold the point of attack, and you're covering two gaps, right? Well, when he called out power, he's saying spill it inside. Just take one gap, and I've got your outside shoulder. I'm going to cover your outside shoulder. So when he said spill it, Pickett Pickett, you'll notice right before he comes up, he says it twice, spill it, Pickett, spill it. You see Pickett right before the snap, shade over a little bit, jumps inside, cuts the play off, and then Clay attacks the pulling guard. Think about what kind of player you have to be. You got to be a little off up here. And A.J. Hawk did this better than any backer in Green Bay for so long. When you know power's coming, you've got to go and hit a 320-pound guard right in the mouth. That's what you got to do. You got to cut that power play off. You got to take their lead blocker out. And it's very unselfish. You got to get in there, jack them up, and make the play. And that play was just absolutely awesome. If you look, it's kind of hard to see, but that picture right there is Clay Matthews and Kevin Green on that play. And above it, you can't see it, but I got the play art drawn of that fumble. That's one of the plays. All those plays back there are actual plays, and I've got pictures with the plays from that specific play.
That's awesome. So, hey, rest in peace, Kevin Green, right?
Oh, dude, he was – and that's the thing that when we hired Dom Capers, I know I've told this story before. I called my brother, and I was like, bro, we got Coach Dom. We got Coach Dom. And I said, guess who his DB coach is going to be? Darren Perry. See, I grew up a Pittsburgh fan in the early and mid-'90s. So my brother was a big Steelers fan. This was before I had my favorite, pro team. I just kind of followed my brother around, right? And I told him we hired Dom Capers, and I said, guess who's going to be his outside linebacker coach? I said, Kevin Green. So what Dom did was he took all of those players from the Blitzburg defense that he ran before he got the head coaching job with the expansion Carolina Panthers team. That's what's crazy is like, he built up that great defense in Pittsburgh, and then he took it and took over the head coaching job in Carolina on their inaugural season, and he took Kevin Green with him, right? Well, lo and behold, what ends up happening? The Packers ended up playing Dom Capers in the NFC Championship at Lambeau Field. Pretty cool how they're all tied together. And then, of course, Dom Capers ends up going to Houston, I believe, and then for a short time, and then – Packers came a call, and Mike McCarthy said, we need us a 34-zone blitz defense up here in Green Bay. So Dom said, let's get the troops together, get everybody together, get Darren up here, get me Kevin Green. Let's get the guys that I taught this defense to and go get them to teach it to other players. And, boy, who better to teach Clay Matthews how to play outside linebacker in a zone blitz than Kevin freaking Green, dude.
Yeah.
It just went full circle, and then we win a Super Bowl with him. We had the best defense in the league that year. My brother called me. He's a Pittsburgh fan. And who did we end up beating? Pittsburgh, right?
Mm-hmm.
He called me that day, and he said, I just want you to know that I'm rooting for Green Bay today. I hope you get a ring today. It was awesome. Pretty cool. How the league is very cyclical, and stuff that worked 20 years ago will come back around, right? Like that's why you see, like a lot of this RPO stuff that took off under Philly several years ago, right? And RPO kind of grabbed a hold of the game. That was invented in Green Bay. Many people don't know that. Like, I don't know if it was invented in Green Bay, but Doug Peterson was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles when they won their first Super Bowl, and they won it off the back of that RPO game, right? With Nick, what was his name? Nick Folk? Was that what it was?
Nick
No.
Folk.
Yeah, well,
Foles, I think, yeah. Anyway, that RPO game, I heard an interview with him, and he said, yeah, I learned that from Brett. In Green Bay, they would, how Brett would always fake that throw and hand the ball off?
Yeah.
Right? He would always do it, or he'd hand it off and fake a throw.
Yeah.
He went to Holmgren and was like, hey, I'm faking this throw. That throw's actually there. I should start throwing that. So when defense is keyed in on the run, when you go to – because they're reading the blockers. They're reading the fullback in a 21 set. Yep. They've got their keys, and they're reading run. If the quarterback just takes a look, that's what they're called lookies, take a look, and you see that conflict defender bite on the run – hammer a slant in there. So Doug Peterson took that as the backup in Green Bay and implemented a whole offense around it in Philadelphia and won a freaking ring with it. So,
dude, I'll never forget watching Brett Favre handing the ball off. And even my dad and like my aunts and stuff would be like, why does he throw the fake after he already handed the ball off? And we just always been like, I don't know, And then like you said, lo and behold, Brett had a little more upstairs than people give him credit for, I swear.
Oh, yeah. He played the dumb redneck from Mississippi game, but boy, they said he was sharp as a tack.
Our Jamie, our resident Jamie says United Bates sent you that Bishop hit 25-second mark in the video.
How is he just so good?
Where did you send it at, Bates? Help me out here, bro.
He said on YouTube if you can show it. Not sure. Not
okay,
sure if it means it's on YouTube or if he sent it through
Oh,
I would think that the hit's probably on YouTube.
So what did he say? 25-second mark?
That is correct.
Y'all want to go a few minutes long? Keep talking to the chat. I'll see if I can make this happen here.
Amelia, are you old enough now to remember? This is Mr. Not So Cool says Mike McKenzie and Al Harris were my favorite corners of all time. There was a stint where I thought Mike McKenzie was going to be the next Charles Woodson. You know, he was so. I don't remember if we traded him or if we let him walk, but I think did he go to the Saints after that, and his career just kind of went away. So. I think there was injuries, I think is what it was. But
I remember the pick six, and I think I said this before. I remember having both. If we had dreads on both outside corner spots, we were good, dude. We were absolutely set. I wasn't worried.
And then, of course, the Al Harris against Hasselbeck, where it went into overtime. We want the ball. We're going to score. I watched that in my grandmother's basement, and I think I tossed a plate of nachos half across the room, and when he did the old bye-bye wave kind of as he's running in the end zone. Oh my Lord. It was great.
It was. I mean, that's the memories right there, man. That's where I think this team, you know, we're going to have a guy or two on this team that's going to, you know, maybe we get a play. If not, you know, maybe not this team specifically in this next 5 years, we're going to have one of those meaningful moments where it's like, all right, we're going to remember this for a long time. And whoever it was, I'm excited.
Yeah, I agree. That's what's honestly more encouraging to me is looking back at those memories. It's like, that's why in preseason, I feel like Packer fans need to be more positive because we are going to have some of those memories this year, whether or not it's a winning season, a losing season, or just kind of a push it, you know, whatever it is. There's going to be some moments there where it's going to be memorable. I was just going to highlight that.
Yeah, Coach Lynn here. I hate seeing Harris on the Cowboys sideline shake my head. He's done pretty decent. He was their DB coach when Trayvon Diggs had all those picks, wasn't he? So
Yep. I think there was rumors too that we were going to bring him in to our I don't know if it was just for DB or if it was just getting him some sort of position. I think it was after they fired Joe Barry that people were like, you got to give Al Harris a shot. And at that point, it was the fact that like he doesn't have that much experience other than, you know, what he did in Dallas and obviously on the field. But that would have been as much as, you know, I would have been excited for that. I really would have. But
absolutely. Jay Cole says here, man, I remember those days and hate to bring him, but Darren Sharper was a dog too. I remember Darren Sharper, one of the hardest hitting safeties in the league.
Bro, I've got, you guys can't see, but my whole office is covered head to toe in Packer stuff that I've gotten from family members that either passed away or just gave me their hand-me-downs. And I've got way too many Darren Sharper not posters of him specifically, but him like, you know, as part of like, you know, how they'll do like your lineup, your studs of your team for this year. What year was it? I got a bunch of them. 2002, 2003. Yeah, he's very prominent there. But you know, sometimes he hit a little too hard there, Mr. Sharper. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot the guy's name. Whoever made those videos, that one, the Marshawn Lynch one, and the Greg Jennings one playing Madden with the bum leg was just some
That's right, dude.
A broken leg and just put the team on my back. Those are some absolute gems.
Reggie L says Tramon Williams, Charles Woodson, Nick Collins. How do we forget about him? Morgan Burnett were my favorite DBs. Wow. Think about that. That is a group right there, man. Wow.
Atari
Bigby. For a hot minute, yeah, he was pretty good, man.
We're risking getting in trouble for this, but I think it's worth it.
Of course, it's when Tim's not here. He would have told us not to do it.
Clayton, please don't do it, Clayton, please. But we're going to do it. Talk for just a few more minutes. It's loading up.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Keep going, boys. Stop for just a second.
I saw another one in the chat that I forgot about completely. Blake Martinez. That was a little stint there. And didn't he end up, speaking of guys that maybe had some trouble with the law, didn't he get in trouble for selling fraudulent Pokemon cards?
You know, it's just turning them.
Jacob, that's what Emilio's going to do if he ever gets out of the podcast game. He's going to start flipping old Pikachus.
Yeah, I'm going to take the old Radio Shack place at the mall, and we're just going to be turning cards over, no problem.
You know what my favorite line is at the gym? Hey, girl, you a Pokemon? Because I want a Pikachu. It works 80% of the time, 100% of the time.
Pokemon. Doesn't Pokemon sound like...
Sit your butt outside.
Doesn't Pokemon sound like a Jamaican skin flick or something? Like, seriously. Unbelievable. All right, listen. It looks like it was recorded on a potato, okay? It looks like everybody's screen recorded it 6 times. It's going to be kind of hard to see. Should I go full screen or no?
Yeah. If we're going to do it, let's
do like the one where can you zoom in a little bit more? Yeah, perfect. Screw it. Let it run.
So this is Desmond Bishop getting a full head of steam here. I think this is the ball's going right here, but let's hit play here.
Marshall.
Oh, my.
One more time. Watch the do-rag. See the do-rag go?
Yeah, they go different. How is that physically possible?
I don't know, man. Defy gravity, that's for sure. Watch this angle right here, man. And then we're getting it off the screen. Oh, yes, sir. That poor guy. Wow. He's got a family to think about, too, man. Again, watch the do-rag.
That's a clean hit. That's a shoulder into that chest.
Oh, lovely.
Wow.
Bates, you're the man. Thank you for getting us canceled, but appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe he found it, man. So it
was
a
2007 preseason that game happened. Yeah.
And Nick Barnett was in the highlight reel too, so he was still on the team in 2007. I don't know if he was on the team for the Super Bowl. The commentator said, "Oh my God, you could say that Bishop baptized." Oh, see, now we got to hear that now. Let's go back to it.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no.
It's the audio that gets us canceled.
Can we put it where we're like on top of it? Put the camera.
Maybe
up.
That'll work better, huh?
Yeah, we need to be
audio, you mean? Yeah. Well, throw me an image up real quick. Doesn't matter what it is.
All right. Yeah. I got you. We'll go with this guy right here.
Perfect. That should do it. All right. Let's listen to the audio this time and see if we can catch that and put it on the screen here. I love it. We're so over right now, and it don't even matter. All right. Here we go. Get it up. Bang. All right. Here we go. Let's listen to the audio.
Marshall is jacked up. Oh my God. Desmond Bishop. You can say that Bishop baptized him.
Is that Rich Eisen?
Yeah, hits like this in preseason, you just don't expect them, Rich.
Yeah,
we need that soundbite for the show. You could say the Bishop baptized them.
That's good.
Gotta love the Packers. All right, let's get out of here, man. The connection just dropped too, so we're about to lose connection.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh. That's Mandy downstairs. I'm unplugging the router.
She's unplugging the router.
All right, Bates. Thank you so much, bub. I owe you lunch, man. What did Matrix say?
He said,
"Damn boy, he got rocked."
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Not so. I hope I'm saying that right. How would you say it, Emilio?
I think it's not so cool.
Yeah, not so cool.
Not so cool. See, I'm saying it like I don't want to screw somebody's first name up, like it might be, something I don't understand. But this episode was awesome. Yeah, it was fun, man. We had a good time. So, all right, guys, if you would hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, man. This was a lot of fun. We'll be back to what's tomorrow? Friday. We'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time for PTA Live. We'll find something else to talk about. Who knows? We may go back into the vault again too and get some old footage. I'm going to be ready though the second they hit us with the copyright. I'll delete it real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? All right, appreciate you, Bates. Everybody have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Bates.
Jacob, Emilio, thank y'all, man. This was fun. That was assault. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go back.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.